Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. And another heavyweight news and notes mashup video today, starting with Joyce, because he seems to be the big winner out of the Dillian Whyte WBC situation. And if you haven't caught up with it, the WBC has said Whyte will not get a title shot against Tyson Fury until his ongoing arbitration with the sanctioning body is resolved. So in the same breath of doing that, at the convention, you can see here, this is from the WBC's Twitter page, sort of saying the mandatory status cannot be clarified until further notice. They also had a ranking session, and Joyce, the British heavyweight who was also promoted by Tyson Fury's promoter Frank Warren, he rose to number 2 in the ranking. So he also has the WBC silver title. He took that off Daniel Dubois, you might recall. Now up to number 2, so he leapfrogs Andy Ruiz Jr. Also you have Joseph Parker at number 4, Frank Sanchez at number 5. Obviously Andy Ruiz Jr. at 3 there. So some people have commented on the Deontay Wilder remaining at number 1 for now. Given the long history with the WBC, Deontay Wilder, a 5-year champion, not completely surprising, but generally a beaten champion, especially one who's been beaten twice in a row. You'd expect them to at least relinquish the number 1 spot, but apparently not for now. But in terms of Joyce, Frank Warren has obviously said that Tyson Fury would like a fight in the new year. And if he does take a voluntary, I'm sure Frank Warren would like to keep it in-house. If he's going to have something in the United Kingdom, Joyce is a name that's getting more recognition, Olympic silver medalist, coming off some good performances, obviously stopping Daniel Dubois, recently stopping Carlos Takam a number of months ago, and Tyson Fury. Joyce shapes as a pretty decent fight, and Fury would clearly go in the favourite. The style matchup is better for him, but obviously Joyce comes with a lot of heart, determination, and he's got a gas tank, just keeps coming and coming. It's not a complete lock for Fury, that's for sure, but it could be something where Joyce is actually Johnny on the spot. He's obviously been grinding away for some time in the heavyweight division, looking and waiting, watching for opportunities. He's bounced around trainers, promoters. They've tried to kickstart and get his career to a point where he can just have a title shot. And given he's the also at the moment the number 1 ranked contender in the WBO, I mean, it sort of seemed that maybe his best opportunity for a title shot was through that avenue, and that would probably be at least a year away, more like 18 months away until the next mandatory or so, even longer, who knows. But if he was to be a voluntary for Tyson Fury, well, that is his title shot, and probably at the best time for him, because already 36 years old, you don't want to sort of be coming into 38, 39 years old getting your first title shot, because probably past prime at that point. So Joyce could be Johnny on the spot here. Moving on, the man that beat Joyce in 2016 in Rio, Tony Yoka, has now been confirmed to face Carlos Takam January the 15th, and that will be in France. So this is an all-French affair. So Carlos Takam, originally from Cameroon, but obviously naturalized French citizen now, he will be facing Yoka, the Olympic gold medalist and unbeaten heavyweight prospect / fringe contender, or is he a contender now after wins over the likes of Christian Hammer, Johan Dorper, most recently Peter Milas and Joel Tomboy Dzeko. So this is a really good fight in my view, because obviously there's a logjam in the heavyweight division. Yoka's not really in the title picture at the moment. Until things sort of settle down with the pandemic and he's able to get to the United States to get on his top rank deal proper, this is actually a pretty good stay busy fight, and it's not without risk. Carlos Takam, even at 40 years old, will come to fight. He'll be trying to clip Tony Yoka, take him out, but Yoka much taller. He's got the speed advantages, skill pretty much in most departments. He's got it over Carlos Takam, who's a former title challenger, but well on the slide at this point. But still, a good matchup. I like it. And you think you've got this fight for January the 15th, and obviously Carlos Takam, Luis Ortiz and Charles Martin has been confirmed with a stacked heavyweight undercard for New Year's Day 2022. I'll be covering that off in a separate video. Moving on, a guy who's just joined on with Matchroom, Demsey McKean. So he's been obviously partaking in fight week activities in the United States in New Hampshire. So he's on this Demetrius Andrade undercard facing Don Haynesworth. So here's a graphic from the Matchroom Instagram page quoting Demsey McKean on his move away from Australia, where he'd plied his trade for the entirety of his career so far, saying, "The big fights are in the US and the UK at the moment. I've stepped out of my comfort zone to take the risk and go to the next level." So this week, he's not quite going to the next level because, let's face it, this is actually a step down in opposition for him compared to some recent opponents. So he's facing a Don Haynesworth, who is a flat-out journeyman, and if McKean puts it on him, he could certainly beat Don Haynesworth pretty comfortably enough and stop him inside a few rounds. Has happened. Sort of depends what you give Haynesworth, because if you give him an opportunity, like one of the Morrison brothers did in his last fight out, he will, actually grow into the fight, but can't see that happening here. And we'll round out this heavyweight news and notes mashup video. So the Olympic silver medalist, you can see here pictured right off the screen, Richard Torrez. So he lost to Bakadir Jalalov at Tokyo, got the silver there, has signed with Top Rank. So not the only Olympic silver medalist from the US to do so, Keyshawn Davis here as well. Not a heavyweight, so we're not so much interested in that. But in respect of Torres, so he says, after the Olympics, I took my time in deciding my professional future, and I was impressed with what Top Rank had to offer. I want to build something in this sport, and Top Rank has a long history of developing young fighters into champions. I'm also thrilled to be joined at Top Rank by my Olympic teammates, Duke, Tiger, Troy, Keyshawn, and I grew up together as amateurs. I can't wait to see what the future holds. Okay, so Richard Torrez, I think this is a decent move for him. Top Rank does build its prospects well. They'll keep them active. You think a guy like Jared Anderson, who's probably, at least at this point, the sort of brightest prospect on the American heavyweight scene at the moment. He's got, 8 or 9 fights just in the past 18 months or so. So at the moment, even though for heavyweights at a certain level higher up, 1 to 2 fights a year max, and some guys aren't even getting a fight in the ring, a la Luis Ortiz and Charles Martin aren't fighting in 2020. But Top Rank is keeping its prospects busy, so they can actually get this guy some meaningful sort of early rounds in his career. I mean, it's not in terms of the strength of the opposition, but it's that experience that he needs to build up and get in the ring under the bright lights. I don't mind this at all for Richard Torrez. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.